The dangerous and deadly blizzard of '96 turns 1,000 miles of the eastern United States into the Great White Way. In snowed-over Washington, Republican leaders and the president try again to plow through the deep budget storm. And a CBS News reality check on First Lady Hillary Clinton. What was her role in the White House travel office troubles and the Whitewater real estate deal?
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Good evening. Blowing, snowing, and biting bitter cold. The great blizzard of '96 isn't over yet tonight, but it is already the worst such blizzard to hit the eastern United States in at least 70 years. It may be the worst snowstorm of the century, and storm-related deaths are mounting. From Kentucky to New York today, at least 2 feet of snow hit the ground, with some areas reporting 3 feet. Philadelphia had a record 30-inch snowfall with drifts everywhere much higher. And this 1,000-mile storm is now tracking on up to New England tonight, with Massachusetts now getting some of the worst of it, especially Boston and south, as the storm heads off Long Island on up to Cape Cod. Official states of emergency were declared in all or parts of at least 8 states up and down the eastern part of the country, as travel by plane, train, or automobile ranged from difficult to dangerous to forget it. Richard Threlkeld begins our snow blanket coverage.
The blizzard of '96 wasn't just nasty, it was a killer. At least 23 deaths were blamed on the storm, most of them in traffic accidents like this one in Kentucky. People who went driving soon wished they hadn't. This was Spartanburg, South Carolina.
I think the roads are awful. If you don't have to drive, don't get out in it. I was told not to, and I didn't listen.
Florida was no escape. There was ice on the orange crop, and nothing much was flying out of Orlando.
They're telling us we're stuck here for 2 days with children. No clothes, no changes, and nothing to sleep in. This is one hell of a vacation.
In fact, nothing much was flying at all. Major airports throughout the East Coast were closed till at least tomorrow, including Newark's.
I've been here since 9 o'clock Sunday morning, and I can't get out. No hotels, everything's booked.
Even the Concorde got stuck up in Maine. Winds whipped the sea into flood tides along the Massachusetts coast, and in Ocean City, New Jersey, too. But it was mostly the snow. Like the Energizer Bunny, the blizzard just kept going and going. In Philadelphia, they started dumping it into the Schuylkill River just to get rid of the stuff. In New Jersey, among other states, the National Guard was sent out to help stranded people.
The weather looks pretty bad, but we're still managing. That's the reason we're here.
School and government offices were mostly closed. Even the post office stopped delivering mail, but some people went to work.
We're like the postman. The rain, snow, sleet, or hail will not keep us away from our jobs.
That didn't mean people wanted to go to work. In Boston, for instance.
You ever seen anything this bad?
No, I can't believe it's so much snow.
I hate it. I would rather stay home and eat worms than deliver milk in this weather.
In New York, the stock market opened late and closed early, but it opened.
Still gotta, keep the market open. Lifeblood of America.
And if you stopped to look around, it was actually kind of pretty. Atlanta looked like a Christmas card. In New York, people improvised to get from here to there. The streets of Manhattan looked like pedestrian malls, and a sort of pleasant anarchy prevailed.
The whole city's on a holiday, so it's an impromptu holiday. It's nice to see a little nature here in New York City.
Well, there's more nature on its way. Another snowstorm's due in the east the end of this week. As they say here in the Big Apple, enough already. Richard Threlkeld, CBS News, New York.
The big bad blizzard in the east left thousands of travelers stranded elsewhere. From Chicago's O'Hare to Miami International, travel was badly snarled as flights to or from the East Coast were canceled or delayed. Here's more on airports that are closed. Richmond, Virginia, and Boston are closed indefinitely. Washington, D.C. and the New York City airports shut down until at least noon tomorrow. And Philadelphia's International Airport is hoping to reopen for flights tomorrow morning. The city of brotherly love was especially hard hit by the blizzard, with the heaviest recorded snowfall in all Philadelphia history. Emergency workers who tried to help the stranded wound up needing rescuing themselves, as we hear from Jacqueline Adams.
States of emergency continue in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. Officials report at least 3 weather-related deaths.
Philadelphia's record 30-inch snowfall did convince most drivers to stay off the roads. But emergency workers who had to be out had problems enough for everyone.
Never see a police vehicle stuck. Unbelievable.
This morning, a third of the city's fire engines and almost half of its medical units were trapped on snow-covered side streets. Officials say that so far the shortages have not jeopardized service, though engine company 45, for one, was marooned for nearly 12 hours.
Well, the tow truck came by and said that we might have to wait for the National Guard to get here to help us out.
What with a dozen or more Army vehicles, National Guardsmen did rescue engines and officers.
So I was stuck at a 12th and Morton in South Philadelphia, and the National Guard vehicle hooked me up to a winch and pulled me right out.
Freeing them to help motorists who might be excused for ignoring the governor's ban on driving.
You don't speak English? All right, just forget it.
But in this district, like many, only a third of the police cruisers made it out of their parking lots.
I'm probably here till further notice until they release us.
You don't know how many shifts you're going to work?
That's about the size of it.
Some officers believe they may be in for the long haul. It could be Friday before their snow emergency ends. Jacqueline Adams, CBS News, Philadelphia.
Farther south in the nation's capital, every house was a White House, and today's act of nature had the ultimate veto power over Congress, the president, and just about everyone in sight. Bob Schieffer has the latest on Washington and the government running on empty.
No disrespect to the politicians, but when it comes to shutting down the government, no one does it better than Mother Nature. Everywhere you looked, Washington was frozen in today. In the suburbs, nursing home patients were evacuated when the roof collapsed over their cafeteria. Luckily, it happened between meals and no one was hurt. 200 people spent the night on a metro train stuck in the snow. No injuries there either, but had there been...
Right there when the people were getting off the train, there's a lawyer passing out cards. A lawyer just passing out cards.
Just before the storm hit, ironically, the president had unveiled a new plan to balance the budget, and Republicans had agreed to reopen the government for a while. But today, the legendary corridors of power were deserted, and Republicans who did straggle in were having second thoughts about the president's plan.
We were asking the president to put something on his plate, and we're glad he did. Unfortunately, what he put on his plate is a turkey.
So do you think there's a light at the end of the tunnel here?
Well, there's a tunnel. I'm not sure about the light.
And once the sun came out and the roads cleared a little, the Republicans boarded four-wheel drive vehicles, convoyed to the White House, and countered the president's ideas with a revised plan of their own. After 2 hours of intense negotiating, and that means there have now been 25 hours of face-to-face budget talks, a White House spokesman said, "We are reaching the point where this will be resolved soon or not at all. It is not going to drag on for weeks and weeks." Bob Schieffer, CBS News, Washington.
There was more than one way to get snowed by the blizzard of '96. In a super sales pitch more than 3 weeks ago, a Manhattan car dealer took a big gamble. He promised that if more than 4 inches of snow fell in New York City on January 8th, any cars leased from him between December 22nd to January 2nd would be free. This is what it looks like outside the dealership today. January 8th. About 120 drivers took the dealer up on his offer, hit the jackpot by signing the leases. Checking the fine print, though, customers still have to pay the sales tax. Are you from Jersey? Bill Geist, a Midwesterner now living in New Jersey, knows a snow job when he sees one. That story later. But right up next, a reality check on Hillary Clinton, the White House Travel Office, and Whitewater.
There are many prescription pain medicines, and a doctor can prescribe any of them. Yet 82% of doctors surveyed have prescribed Arudis. And now, for the first time, it's available in a non-prescription strength. New Arudis KT. It's so potent, just 25 milligrams is as effective as 400 milligrams of Motrin IV, 440 of Aleve, or 1,000 milligrams of extra-strength Tylenol. New Arudis KT, the potent medicine for pain.
Which one of these laxatives is gentle on your system? Now, which one offers you 3 different strengths? And which one guarantees overnight relief? Easy choice. Today's X-Lax pills.
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Hoover, nobody does it like you.
In Washington today, justice wasn't only blind, it was snowblind. 8 of the 9 justices of the U.S. Supreme Court met and issued a flurry of decisions. Among them, the High Court said federal regulators can require broadcasters to confine racy, so-called indecent material to late-night hours when children are not tuned in. Well, Justice First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton is getting ready to raise her political and public profile again this week. Congressional Republicans are taking aim at her on 2 scores, Whitewater and the White House Travel Office. Their ammunition includes the timing and content of newly released documents about both. At issue, what the First Lady says was her minimal role compared to what the documents now seem to indicate. We have a reality check by correspondent Eric Engberg.
The ethical cloud hanging over the Clinton White House has now shifted from the president to the First Lady. The suspicions have been fueled by the odd, belated way new evidence keeps popping up. For example, Mrs. Clinton has insisted that her own work for a failed Arkansas savings and loan that's the subject of a criminal investigation was minimal.
The young attorney, the young bank officer did all the work.
When her law firm's billing records, mysteriously missing for 2 years, were turned over to investigators late Friday, they showed that she did a wide array of work for the bank.
These new records raise volumes of questions, raise serious question as it relates to the First Lady.
All this comes mere hours after the disclosure of another document that could be viewed as damaging to the First Lady's credibility. When the 1993 firing of the White House Travel Office staff touched off a controversy, the White House insisted to investigators Mrs. Clinton played no role. But a memo by key aide David Watkins, found in the White House files almost 2 years after the fact, says it was she who ordered the firings.
The White House engaged in a cover-up of the true story of the Travel Office firings right from the start.
The White House scoffs at allegations of a cover-up in either case.
Look, there are people around here who think Hillary Clinton is responsible for the weather outside.
But the latest document follies have only fueled Republican suspicions that after Vince Foster's death, his files were tampered with, and that Mrs. Clinton may have been in on it.
And then there's the question of whether or not files were destroyed deliberately and withheld, files that may have been in Mr. Foster's office.
The White House claims Republicans are targeting Mrs. Clinton for political reasons. The controversy comes at a bad time for her. She is due to begin a high-visibility election year book tour later this week. Eric Engberg, CBS News, Washington.
Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, a brilliant career as a Navy pilot snagged by tailhook.
We opened this business 22 years ago. She's obstinate and ornery. She's also my best friend. I guess her hands started hurting her kind of off and on back in March. She worked through it, but she was taking a lot of pills. And I said, honey, why don't you call the doctor? Well, that's who told her about Aleve.
You take it every 8 to 12 hours. Tylenol, I was taking up to 8 a day. With Advil, I'd take 6.
Well, she tried Aleve. We did a little math, found out for a whole day's relief, Aleve cost half as much as Tylenol or Advil. Anyway, Aleve was all she needed. Who knows? Maybe one of these days we'll stop bickering.
They'll bet on it.
Aleve. All day strong, all day long.
I'm 62. Can I still help prevent osteoporosis?
It's never too late for Caltrate. Caltrate Plus has the extra calcium you need, plus 6 nutrients essential for healthy bones, whatever your age.
It's never too late for Caltrate.
It happens in the hospital. It happens at home.
When heartburn flares up, the #1 choice of hospitals is fast-acting Maalox. Hospitals can count on it for speed, and that's just what you need. Maalox, the first choice for hospitals, the fast choice for home.
Every year, people have trouble keeping their resolutions to eat better. Now there's help. Whole Grain Total, with 100% of 11 of the many vitamins and minerals you need. Call 1-800-FREE-BOX for a sample to help make this year a healthy and happy one.
Someone has been burning Black Baptist churches, nearly a dozen so far, and all of them unsolved.
They came with the true intent of burning down our church, and truly that's what they've done.
So who's burning the churches? That story tomorrow. Plus, digging out from the blizzard of '96, a look at the hardest hit on the CBS Evening News.
A senior American diplomat in the Balkans said today the United States is not satisfied with the speed of implementation of the Bosnian peace deal. One urgent concern is the city of Mostar, where Muslims and Croats are supposed to be burying their ancient feuds. Instead, as correspondent Mark Phillips reports, they're starting up again.
This wasn't the way the peace was supposed to be in Bosnia. Another funeral, another grieving family. And the sound of gunshots. These in salute to a policeman, the latest victim of renewed shooting in the town of Mostar. The shots that killed him were full of foreboding. They were fired across the confrontation line in Mostar, where some of the bitterest fighting of the war took place. Now NATO forces are patrolling the line because there have been 4 shootings, causing 2 deaths and 2 serious injuries in the past week. Here, the war was between Muslims and Croats, who are now supposed to be allies, part of the Bosnian Federation, but who are shooting each other again. And the European administrator who's been sent here to pull the town together fears the worst.
If Mostar will not come together as one city, the Federation will not come together.
You're saying if it can't work in Mostar, then it can't work in Bosnia, and if it can't work in Bosnia, then there can be no peace.
Yeah, that's the point.
Just as the destruction of Mostar's famous 400-year-old bridge in the war was a symbol of the destruction of Bosnia, the new peace is as delicate as the flimsy suspension bridge that now spans the gorge, a peace now unsettled by the recent killings. Mostar is Bosnia's great experiment and great gamble. It is an explosive time bomb of old hatreds and new bitterness, and right now it's a time bomb whose fuse has been lit. More than a young policeman was buried here. Unless attitudes change, the brittle Bosnian peace could be buried here as well. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Mostar.
Another disaster has struck Zaire. A Russian-built cargo plane crashed as it took off from Kinshasa, plowed into a crowded marketplace and exploded. Up to 300 people were killed on the ground, most of them African women and children. And France is mourning former President Francois Mitterrand. He died today at 79. Mitterrand capped a half-century in politics by serving as president from 1981 until last year. World leaders tonight praised him as one of the chief architects of European unity. President Clinton called him a great statesman.
I'll never go back to denture paste or powders.
Here's why. C-Bond Denture Adhesive. 2 powerful adhesives in a soft micro-thin seal bonds dentures to your gums. Can hold comfortably all day. No mess, easy to remove.
You'll never go back.
C-Bond.
Everybody has morning breath. Unfortunately, not everybody has scoop.
Eggnog, mashed potatoes and gravy, Santa cookies, Aunt Wilma's bundt cake.
The average American can gain 4 to 7 pounds during the holidays. You could be one of them.
Cheese balls.
So include the Kellogg's Special K breakfast in your New Year's diet and get the scale moving in the right direction.
Fruitcake, fruitcake, fruitcake.
Kellogg's Special K. Lose the holiday fat.
Did you want regular or decaf? Hello? Regular or decaf? Regular?
Well, at least you know how to keep it from spilling. The powerful Accord V6 from Honda.
possibly the world's easiest decision.
If you own a home or other structure with exterior inner seal siding made by Louisiana Pacific, under the terms of a nationwide class action settlement, you may be entitled to money to replace damaged siding. This siding looks like normal wood siding. A class action lawsuit alleges that the siding may rot, crack, or deteriorate. To find out if you are eligible for money to replace damaged siding, call 1-800-245-2722 or write for more information.
Authorized by the U.S. District Court, Portland, Oregon.
Who's burning the churches? Nearly a dozen Black Baptist churches have been torched, and all unsolved. Plus, digging out from the blizzard of '96. A look at the hardest hit tomorrow.
It's been more than 4 years since the infamous tailhook incident where Navy flyers harassed and humiliated women at a Las Vegas convention. The formal investigations are all over, but the consequences are not. Correspondent David Martin reports tonight on the latest to suffer for the sins of tailhook.
Commander Bob Stumpf was one of the Navy's high flyers, a former commander of the Blue Angels and a veteran of combat missions over Iraq. Just 2 weeks ago, he was getting ready to take over a carrier air wing. One more stop on a career that had Admiral written all over it.
Big day ahead.
Yeah, it's a big day. Today, Stumpf sits at a do-nothing desk, wondering, along with many of his fellow officers, how he could have come to such a dead end.
We're being punished unjustly because of the climate that exists following tailhook.
Stumpf attended the infamous tailhook convention 4 years ago. He was never accused in any of the sexual assaults that occurred there, but he did go to a bawdy party.
They picked up the Las Vegas phone book and hired a couple of strippers to come in and dance around.
At the time, Stumpf thought it was no big deal.
That kind of activity that was going on in those guys' rooms while I was there was normal officer club activity when I grew up in the Navy. After tailhook, they changed the rules.
The investigation into his conduct went all the way up to Navy Secretary John Dalton.
I was summoned back to Washington to interview with the Secretary of the Navy, who then said, "You're good to go, and you don't have a problem."
Dalton selected Stumpf for promotion to captain, but when the Senate Armed Services Committee found out Stumpf had been at tailhook, it objected. Dalton had to decide: stick with Stumpf or go along with the committee. He took back the promotion.
It's basically blackmail. If he promotes Commander Stumpf, he has to worry about other Navy programs and other Navy nominations down the road.
You could call what's happening to Stumpf either the final comeuppance of tailhook or political correctness run amok. Whatever you call it, it's sending a powerful message to the rest of the Navy.
It's sending a message, but perhaps it's the wrong message. It's saying that that intolerance and prudery and political expedience are more important than fairness.
Stumpf plans to sue the Navy for the money he lost by not being promoted. But after 21 years in the cockpit, the career of the man many regard as the Navy's best pilot is, for all intents and purposes, finished. David Martin, CBS News, Oceana Naval Air Station, Virginia.
And now some news about CBS News. Andrew Hayward, who for the last 15 months has been executive producer of this broadcast, was today named president of CBS News. Hayward is 45. His experience in television news is wide and deep. He succeeds Eric Ober, who announced his resignation last month.
And hold it.
Oh, sure.
Concentrate. Stretch.
Now that I can do. Plump, delicious Sunsweet Lemon Essence Pitted Prunes.
Are you with me?
Sunsweet. Always a sweet idea.
Some people are doing more business than ever on Fridays.
The Denver deal doable, Donnie?
Good. Help your business do more business with Sprint's amazing offer. For 1 full year, Fridays are free.
No, I'll call you back. It's Friday.
Every long-distance call you make on Fridays is free. The rest of the week, you get Sprint's great low-flat rate.
Okay, so I'll call you next Friday.
Call now. 1-800-598-5000. Don't miss another free Friday. Only from Sprint Business.
When I was young, you and Mom made sure I ate right.
Well, you were my little girl.
Well, today we're listening to our doctors and taking better care of our health with Ensure.
Ensure is recommended #1 by doctors as a source of complete, balanced nutrition.
More than a vitamin supplement, Ensure has all the nutrients adults need to help stay healthy, active, be energetic.
Drink Ensure as a meal.
Or in between. Ensure. To your health, Dad.
To our health.
Ensure, recommended #1 by doctors.
It's midnight. My family's asleep getting their rest, but me, I'm in pain and I'm wide awake. I felt a little uneasy about taking something. You know, what I feel like myself in the morning. But then I tried Tylenol PM. It stops my pain, it helps me sleep, so next morning I'm still up before them. Hey, sleepyhead.
Sweetheart.
Feeling rested, feeling good, like myself.
Rest easy. It's Tylenol PM. Now also available in easy-to-swallow gel tabs.
Only hefty one-zip bags have the amazing one-zip slider. Closes first time, every time. So tight, you can even zip and flip. Hefty one-zip. There's the hard way, or the hefty way.
We leave you tonight with one person's take on this blizzard that ate the East. He's a Midwesterner who's seen a blizzard or two in his time, now transplanted and living in New Jersey, and who was trying, he says, to commute to his job in New York City today. Here's a home video with a twist from correspondent Bill Geist.
We awoke today to the sound of wind howling and futile plowing.
The blizzard of '96, now being described as one of the most powerful storms of the century.
But you know how newscasters are. They always exaggerate everything. How bad could it really be? Well, milk was sold out at the store. It was starting to look and sound pretty bad.
Honestly, this is just not the place for man nor beast.
The governor declared a state of emergency. Only essential employees were allowed on the roads. I called the governor for clarification.
Am I absolutely essential?
Now, the governor didn't consider me essential, but my boss did. I guess it's good to be essential.
Kind of a toss-up, really. Do you go out in the blizzard of '96, or do you stay home under the sink all day defrosting water pipes?
I was ill-prepared for the blizzard of the century. No one can match the hardiness and fierce determination of the American worker when threatened by his superiors.
I don't see too many other people going to work today. I think the only things open are essential services like the hospital and the video store. But all they had to rent yesterday was Waterworld. So you guys came down here to get bagels on your skis, or what? Just a glass drink of water?
Skied in for bagels.
But the bagel truck was delivering all day today, because bagels are essential. You need them to live.
They told everyone to take public transportation, but at the train station there didn't seem to be any. No trains, no buses. Essential employees would have to take to the roadway.
Four-wheel drive, no problem.
But essentially, I was stuck at home. Bill Geist, CBS News, in the driveway.
Having spent part of the day stranded on a train in a rural area, I can relate to that. Some fine Amtrak employees in Albany and Rhinebeck, New York, finally dug us out, and with the help of a special good neighbor named Mike Fairweather, that's his name, honest, they got me here in time for this broadcast. I want to thank them and everyone who was so kind and helpful along the way. Dan Rather reporting. Good night.
CBS News.
How can this be car of the year? You can't get up and walk around in a car. Cars don't have seats on rollers. Or so many seats, period. Or so much space for so many things. And they certainly don't offer sliding doors on both sides. Well then, it would appear that for the first time ever, the Motor Trend Car of the Year is more than a car. It's a caravan from the new Dodge.
The side roads are just basically impassable as you see today. It would be impossible to put a school bus in areas like Union Hill, Joelton, Goodlettsville, some parts of Bellevue.
The situation is improving, but it's still a long way from normal. Tonight, the mid-state battles back from the first big storm of '96.
This is the News Channel 5 6 o'clock report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Clark. Vicki will be in at 10 o'clock. Our top story tonight, fighting back from the first big storm of the winter. The roads are improving, but they're still not ready for buses. We'll have the school closed.